So remember this formula tells you the monthly payment on an installment loan. And so in this section, we are talking about car payments. We're looking at that situation. So last class period, we did do one or two problems where we used a calculator. And it's not an easy formula to plug into a calculator. So there are quite a bit of things that could arise as you're entering stuff into your calculator. So whatever you get, just make sure that it seems reasonable, whatever answer you get. If it's like way, way off, then you know you did something wrong when you put things into your calculator. All right, so let's just kind of review this. So let's suppose we want to, suppose you borrow, let's say you borrowed $8,000 for, and let's say it's a used car that you're purchasing. So you borrow $8,000 because no new car is going to cost $8,000. So let's say it's a used car you're purchasing, and it's for 4 years at 8.5%, and you want to find, so let's suppose you borrow $8,000 for 4 years at 8.5%, and you want to find the monthly payment. All right, now, it's very important that you know how to use your calculator with this, because your test on this is in 2 weeks. So on your calculator, let's first of all, now remember what I want to see on the worksheet that deals with this is what you put into the formula. So I need to see this. I'm putting an arrow what I need to see. So I need to see that you have P written down. What's P in this case?
P is the $8,000.
$8,000 times R. What's R in this case?
Zero. I'm seeing.
So you got to write 8.5% as a decimal. So that's 0.085 divided by N. All right, now let's talk about N. N is how many times is being compounded per year. So whenever you're talking about a car payment, how many car payments do you make a year? 12. So what's in this case? 12. So notice that nowhere in the problem did it say 12 times a year. Because in an installment plan, it's usually monthly. And for cars, it's monthly. All divided by bracket 1 minus, in parentheses, 1 plus R. R is 0.085 divided by 12. Close the parentheses. And all raised. Now I'm going to put that in parentheses up here. I'm going to put the exponent in parentheses. That's important. I'm going to say negative N is 12, times, and how many years is this for?
4.
4. All right, so that's what you're going to put into your calculator. I say take your calculator out, and let's figure out what this is. So on your calculator, go ahead and determine what that is. So you have to say this. You have to say 8,000 times, in parentheses, 0.085 divided by 12, close the parentheses, and then say divide by, bracket, we're going to use parentheses, open parentheses, 1 minus, open parentheses, 1 plus 0.085 divided by 12, close the parentheses. I'm raising it to this exponent, so raised, open parentheses, negative 12 times 4, close, and then close the bracket. You got to do that, close the bracket, and then press equal, and you should have gotten about $197.19. Okay, 19 cents. Okay? Now, notice there's a lot of things you could have messed up in there, and for some of you, it took like 15 minutes at least to get something done. You don't have that luxury on a test. Yes?
I could ask when you had said that we could exponents in the way it is, and we didn't have to solve before we put it in.
Yeah, you can put it as negative, in parentheses, negative 12 times 4. That's what I did.
Whatever I do, it don't work right.
Yeah.
You're putting something in wrong. So you need to see me after class.
I put mine in and it don't do it, but when I put it in as the answer, then it shows.
You mean negative 48? Yeah, you can put it as negative 48, but what if that was let's say it's, let's say it was 4.75 years, let's say. I mean, you'd have to figure out what that is first and then do it the way you want to do it. But look, all I did was this. I want you to see. I mean, I was able to do it. So there's something else that you're doing that's not correct. So after class, see me. Okay? All right. Now, here's what I want to do also. So notice that we did this. We put this in the calculator as we read it, right? All right. So let's suppose, and you know, depending on the calculator you have, you may need to do it this way. Let's just go ahead and figure out the numerator first. So you'll say in the numerator, you have, go ahead and do that, all of you. In the numerator, you have 8,000 times 0.085 divided by 12 and press equal. Do y'all agree that this is my numerator? All of you got this as a numerator, right? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So you're gonna, in the numerator, you're going to write this down. You're going to say, now, if you do it this way, I need you to put 3 digits behind the decimal point. So you're going to say 56.667. Right, so you write that down, 56.667. That's the numerator. So now you're going to go and you're going to figure out, well, what's the denominator, right? So let's go ahead and figure out what the denominator is. So if you look at the denominator, now that's a complicated one. All right, now listen carefully. The denominator, you're going to say parentheses. Actually, you don't, the denominator, you just need to say 1 minus. You're going to say 1 minus, open parentheses, 1 plus 0.085 divided by 12, close the parentheses. Now, those two of you back there, here's what I'm doing. Listen, look carefully. Raised, parentheses, negative. It could be using the wrong symbol for negative. You got to use this symbol for negative. You can't use subtraction symbol. We talked about that before in here. Subtraction is not the same as negative. Okay, so you got to use your negative symbol. So that's probably where your error is coming from. Negative 12 times 4, close the parentheses, press equal. That is my denominator. But remember, I need for you to write 3 digits behind the decimal point if you're going to do it this way. So that's going to be 0.287. You agree? Now, take your calculator, say 56.667. Divide by 0.287. Now, this is going to be approximations. Won't be the same, almost the same as the other one. But the more digits you put in, the better you get this. 0.287. And notice by doing it this way, I was close. I got 197.45. But the question I'm going to ask you is this. If you do it this way, where I rounded off like 3 decimal places behind the decimal point, why isn't that this answer is a little off from this one? Why is this off? Yes?
Because you rounded that long decimal.
Yeah, so I rounded off. Instead of, see this right here, when I did this way, I used all of the digits that was in my calculator, which is what it should be. If you want to find out what your exact payment would be, then this is it. Here, I rounded off. So if I wanted a better estimate, I should have used maybe 5 digits behind the decimal point, and that would have given me a better estimate. Okay? All right, so if all else fails, if you know how to use your calculator, I really need for you to enter it as you see it. If you're going to approximate, then you got to show me the numerator, you got to show me the denominator, and I need at least 3 digits behind the decimal point. So if you give me less than 3, you're not going to get full credit for your answer.
So you put negative 12?
Negative 12 times 4, because the formula is negative NT. Okay? That's your formula, negative NT. All right, now let's look at this. Okay, so this, go ahead and take out that handout I gave to you last time. It's section 8.6. Section 8.6. Go ahead and take that out. And we're going to look at number 4. So go ahead and take that out, guys. Section 8.6, number 4. Okay, so here's what number 4 says. Number 4 says, suppose you decide to borrow $40,000 for a new car. You can select one of the following loans, each requiring monthly payments. Installment loan A is for 3 years at 6.1%. Installment loan B is for 5 years at 7.2%. Okay? Part A. Find the monthly payment and total interest for loan A. All right, so when I do part A, what formula will I use to find the monthly payment? What formula will I use to find? Yeah, that one here. All right, so we're going to do one more possibility with your calculator. So notice that though in the problem, so we're going to do it. So this is loan A. The amount you borrowed is $40,000, and it's at what percentage rate? 6.1%. Okay, and it's how many years? 3 years. All right, so go ahead and find your monthly payment. Go ahead and use all of the digits. So enter your calculator using the formula. Do it that way. I want to see if you can use your calculator. All right, so find your monthly payment. All right, so remember on your worksheet or a test where it says show work, here's what I want to see. I'm telling you now, this is what I want to see. So if you leave it blank, you're not going to get full credit. So you're going to say, remember, here's your formula right here. So you're going to say 40,000 times, in parentheses, the rate, which is 0.061. Change it to a decimal. Divided by N. N is the number of times a year. How many, in an installment loan for this car, how many times are you paying it a year? 12. That's your numerator. Divided by parentheses. 1 minus parentheses. 1 plus 0.061 divided by N. N is 12. Close the parentheses. Now remember, I'm enclosing a parentheses for the exponent. And that's negative 12 times T. What is T in this case? 3. And then close the first parentheses off. So in your calculator, you're saying this. You're saying 40,000 times parentheses 0.061 divided by 12, close the parentheses. Divide, now my denominator. Parentheses. 1 minus parentheses 1 plus 0.061 divided by 12, close the parentheses. Now I got to deal with the exponent. Since I'm dealing with the exponent, I got to go to my exponent function right here. Then I'm going to say parentheses negative 12 times 3, close that exponent, and then close the denominator. So like 2 parentheses in a row. And you get $1,218.69. So that's your monthly payment. Now, some of you, when you did it, you got something like $229. And I asked you, I said, does that seem reasonable? And you can always check. Remember, that's your monthly payment, right? So let's suppose you said $229. Well, 229. How many months in a year? 12. So you say times 12. So that's how much you would pay in 1 year. How many years is this for? How many years is this for? 3. So times 3. So you're telling me that this $40,000 loan, all you're going to pay off is $8,244? So you know you did something wrong. Because the total payment should be more than $40,000. All right, so that is your monthly payment. Now, Part B, oh, and then the other part of Part A says this. Part A says, and what's the total interest? Okay, now listen carefully. How do you find the total interest? What do you have to do? Okay, well, first of all, let's think about it this way, all right? What does that $1,218.69 represent? Your monthly payment. That's your monthly payment. If I'm going to find out how much total interest that I end up paying, what is it that I must know?
Divided 0.8 by 12.
Okay, so how would you find the future value of this $40,000 loan? What would you do? No. Remember, that is your monthly payment. Why would you say $40,000 plus this? No, but I want you to think about that, though. Guys, that's your monthly payment. If you're making this, if you're paying this much a month,
So you do that times, multiply that times,
go ahead.
36.
All right, good. Where do you get that 36 from? The number of months you're paying this thing off for. Well, how do you get 36? What did he do to get 36? 12 times 3. So this is the monthly payment. So your total amount paid, or the future value, let's use the word future value. Future value would be that times 36, because I remember how we got 36. We said 12 times what? 3. 12 months in a year. And there are 3 years. And so in your calculator, that becomes $1,218.69 times 36 equal 4387, that's a 7, 2.84. So $43,872.84. Now, yes.
You would subtract 40,000 from that, and then
Yes.
what's left over is
So this is what you would end up paying. How much was a car? How much was a car? How much did you borrow? 40,000. So how do you find your interest? How do you find the interest? You subtract. So the interest would be your future value, which we'll call A. I said FV, but remember it's really the same thing as A minus P. What's A in this case? 43,872.84 minus 40,000. So what's your interest about? $3,872.84. So that's your interest. Okay? All right, so now let's do B. So that was loan A. So loan A, your monthly payment is $1,218.69, and the total interest that you would end up paying back was $3,872.84. All right, let's find the information for loan B. So loan B, you're told this time that, let's see, loan B. So this was for 5 years, and again, $40,000. And the interest rate was 7.2%. Now notice this is a longer period of time, so if you have the money and you can pay it off sooner, then you do the shorter time period. But for the average person, it's probably going to be for 5 to 6 years. All right, so let's find the monthly payment. So again, you're going to put that in your calculator. But first of all, remember on the worksheet or a test, your test in 2 weeks, you're going to write out. You're going to say 40,000 times R. What's R? How do I write R? How do I write R?
As a decimal,
Tell me what to write.
0.072.
Divided by, what do I divide that by? 12. Denominator, parentheses, 1 minus, parentheses, 1 plus. What's R? 0.072 divided by N. What's N? 12, because there are 12 installment payments per year. Now your exponent, I'm going to put that in parentheses. The exponent is negative 12 times T, and T in this case is 5. All right, so put that in your calculator, see what you get. Hopefully this time, more of you will get the right answer. So I just want to make a note of this. So all of you got this. It was like $795.83. Now, I noticed that in one of you in this one, and then another one in another situation did this. So let's suppose I'm going to go ahead and change this right here. So let's say that someone got this. So they got like $79.58, right? So when I went in and I looked at their number, they put 4,000. What should this be? What should this be? It's going to happen to some of you. What should this be? 40,000. Well, you can always use your calculator. See, there's an insert button right here. So I need to insert another 0, right? So I press second. Oh, I forgot. I need to go back to my function. So I press the up arrow to get to where my function needs to be. All right. And, all right. So you see I had 4,000. I need an extra 0. No, that's, 4,000. I need an extra 0. So I'm going to insert, second insert, 0. And notice I have my correct number of zeros. So then I just use the right arrow just to kind of make sure it's there. And then press equal. And now I got the right answer. If for some reason you need to delete a digit, then use the delete button. But if you got to use the delete button by going back to where you started entering. So you got to press that top arrow. And so let's say I need to delete, let's say this 2 right here. So I get to the 2, I highlight it, and I delete, and now the 2 goes away. Okay, so play around with the insert delete because it's going to happen to some of you, where you're gonna be missing a digit. So rather than doing this whole thing over, which I know is what you want to do, you want to just clear it out and just start over, just use your insert delete button. All right, now this right here is my monthly payment. How do I find the total interest? What do I need to do? How do I find the total interest that I paid? So the interest I paid will be the future value, which is A, minus how much I borrowed, right? How do I find my future value? How do I find A? How do I find A? How do I find how much I ended up paying for this $40,000 loan?
Multiply the monthly payments by 60.
Yeah, because so 795.83 times, and then you could say 12 for 1 year, and how many years is it? 5? So yeah, times 60. And so when I do that, I get $795 times 12 times 5, or just times 60. And it's 4. So it's like 47,000 $749.80. Is that right? Is that what y'all got? So that's my future value. So to find the interest, I would say that minus 40,000, and how much interest would I end up paying? Yeah, so $7,749.80. Now, I want you to compare those two loans because you could be in that predicament where you may say, all right, I want this car, but do I get it for 4 years or do I want to get it for 5 years? And then the interest rate, depending on the banks, the interest rate could be different depending on how many years you borrow it for. But notice that for loan A, my monthly payment was $1,218.69, right? But that was for how many years? 3. For 5 years, it was only $795.83. So you may say, well, I can afford that. But the issue becomes what though? What is the disadvantage to doing the 5 years? What's the disadvantage to doing the 5 years? Huh? The interest is more. In the end, you'll be paying more interest because notice for 3 years, how much interest did you end up paying? It's about $3,872. Whereas 6 years, look how much. It's almost $7,700. Okay, so if you're able to afford a shorter time period, then do it. You save yourself some interest. All right, so that was letter B. And then letter C we did. So letter C says this. Letter C, compare the monthly payments and the total interest for the two loans. All right, so let's compare the monthly payments. So you'll say something like the monthly payment for loan B is the monthly payment for loan A is larger, right? But the total interest is smaller. So just something like that. The monthly payment for loan A, or you could say the monthly payment for loan B is what?
Higher.
Higher. The monthly payment for loan B is not higher, it's what? For loan B is
less.
lower,
Yeah.
but the interest is what?
Higher.
Higher. The interest is higher. The total interest you end up paying is higher. Okay? All right, so let's look at this example. So let's go to number 12. So let's get number 12. All right, number 12. Okay, number 12, it says this. Suppose that you drive 15,000 miles per year and that gas averages $3.50 per gallon. Part A. So let's go ahead and write this down. It's 15,000 miles. And then the gas averages $3.50 a gallon. Okay. And then part A says this. What will you save? What will you save in annual fuel expenses by owning a hybrid car averaging 60 miles per gallon rather than an SUV averaging 15 miles per gallon? So you all understand that whenever you drive your car, no matter where you go, let's say you leave here, go home, it costs you money, right? It's not just gas you have to spend, But what else occurs when you drive from here to your house? What else are you incurring? Huh? The wear and tear of your car. I mean, you're using up oil, you're using up fluids, you're using up. So she's right, maintenance. So every time you're driving, you're spending money on this car. So in a little while, you're going to see, we're going to talk about something that talks about the cost of really owning a car. So it's not just buying this car and all the interest and then the gas you put in it, but there's the wear and tear of your car. You have to deal with tires at some point. You have to deal with oil changes, with anything that happens to that car. You have to deal with. So you have all these costs that are incurred within that 6-year period or that 5-year period. So that car could really cost you a lot more than $40,000. A lot more than $40,000. I know, but sometimes you got to think about, okay, I really want this car, this huge SUV, but it doesn't get that much mileage. Or it could be that it's not a very reliable car. So whenever you're looking at buying a new car, you need to go and research, is this car reliable? Am I going to have issues with it? So, and you need to look at what's the cost of maintaining that car. Plus, then you have insurance you got to pay. Some cars, the insurance costs more than others. So it's a bunch of other things you got to deal with. But let's go back to number 12, though. So you're going to drive this car 15,000 miles. Now that's about between 10 and 15,000 is usually what insurance companies would quote you on for driving a car. So they always ask you how many miles you're going to drive this car. And then the gas is, let's say it averages 3.50. Right now in Louisiana, it's what, about $3 a gallon? Close to that?
It's like $2.
$2. So it's like $1 something right now?
I think $1.97.
Yeah,
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, good Lord. Where have I been? So it's $1.97? All right. So $2. I just never really looked at it, I guess. All right. So it's about $2, right? So this is way off. Now there might be some states where it's actually this, depending where you live.
Really expensive.
Texas what?
Texas, it's about that much.
Really?
That's low,
Yeah.
but they pay a lot less in taxes.
Oh, they do. Yeah. Yeah. So they get you some other way. Okay. So let's go back to Part A. Part A says, what will you save in annual fuel expenses by owning a hybrid car that averages 60 miles per gallon rather than an SUV averaging 15 miles per gallon? So first of all, let's talk about the hybrid car. Hybrid car. All right. How many gallons, how many miles per gallon does this hybrid car get? No. The hybrid. 60. So this hybrid car gets 60 miles per gallon, right? Now remember, whenever you get like just electric cars, you have to pay for electricity somehow to get that thing charged up. So you have all these other issues. All right, but for this particular case, they just want you to compare fuel cost. So this hybrid car gets 60 miles per gallon. So let's find out how much the fuel cost would be for this hybrid car. Okay? All right. In a year's time, how would I figure out driving 15,000 miles, how much my fuel would cost for this hybrid car? What would I need to do? What would y'all do?
Multiplied by 15,000 miles.
Say it again.
350 multiplied
Well, but remember, so you're on the right track. So just let's think about what this is right here. So this 350 is how much it costs per gallon, right? Okay. And so the 60 though, this 60 represents that it's 60 miles per gallon. So let's think about those two for right now. So do y'all see that if I take that driving 60 miles is going to cost me how much per gallon? If I drive 60 miles, how much will it cost me? Guys, listen to what I'm asking. This car gets 60 miles per gallon, right? So I go 60 miles. How much did that gas cost me? $3.50. Well, so there's a formula for that, but I'm trying to get you to that point. But yeah, so if you multiply 350, now be careful, don't say 350 by 60 though. All I'm saying is this, driving 60 miles costs how much? 350. Driving another 60 miles will cost how much? 350. Driving another 60 miles will cost how much? 350. That's what that says. Okay? But somehow we have to relate all that with this total mileage right here. 15,000 miles. So there's a formula we can use to determine the annual fuel cost. And I'm going to try and relate this to what we were talking about. So if I want to find the annual fuel cost, I am going to take in my numerator, I'm going to have the total miles driven, annual miles driven, divided by the miles per gallon. And that will tell me how many gallons I used up, how many gallons of gas it took me. So for example, okay, listen carefully. Okay, listen. If I drive 60 miles, okay, how many gallons of gas did I use? One. If I drive 120 miles, how many gallons of gas did I use? Two. Okay, do y'all agree? Remember I said if I drive 120 miles, right? Do y'all agree that 120 divided by 60 is what? 2. So I drove 120 miles. How many miles per gallon? 60. How many gallons is this? 2. So this right here is the number of gallons of gas. So if I take the annual miles driven divide by the miles per gallon, that gives me how many gallons it takes to drive that many miles. Okay? But then I got to multiply by the cost per gallon. So then you're going to say times the price per gallon. All right. So in this case, if I had driven 120 miles and I divide by 60, that means that 2 means that I needed how many gallons of gas to drive 120 miles? 2. And what do I do now to find out how much it's going to cost me for the fuel? I multiply 2 by what? No, not 8.5. You said 8. No, that's 3.5. Oh, you said 3. I'm sorry. It just sounded like 8. But yeah, you're right, 3.5. Okay? So, let's go back to part A then. How many miles did I drive in that 1 year? 15,000. Divide by, how many miles per gallon do I get for this hybrid? 60. And whatever that is, remember, that's the number of gallons now. This is your number of gallons. I take that and multiply by the cost per gallon. What's the cost per gallon? $3.50. And so what's the total cost? Okay, so make sure you're all getting that. So you say 15,000 divided by 60 times 3.5, $875. So $875 to drive this hybrid car in 1 year's time. That's the fuel cost. Okay? Now let's do the SUV. Remember, most people now want those SUVs because why in Louisiana do they tell you that the small compact cars going out and the SUVs coming in? What's the trend? What makes that happen? Okay, that, but the price per gallon is cheap, isn't it? If you remember back in maybe a few years ago when the price per gallon was high,
You know, like 2014 and 15, it was like super duper high.
yeah, so people weren't really buying those big cars. But the cheaper the price, the bigger the car they want to get. But yeah, the SUVs are mostly for families. Yeah. So regardless of the price per gallon, you're going to need an SUV for a big family of 5 or 6. So let's do the SUV. How many miles per gallon does the SUV get? How many miles per gallon does the SUV get? 15? All right, so let's find the annual cost. Okay, so the formula says I put the miles driven in the numerators. How many miles were driven in the numerator in that 1 year? 15,000. Divided by how many miles per gallon does that SUV get? 15. Remember, that's going to be the number of gallons now. So this is the number of gallons. Each gallon will cost me how much? $3.50. So what is the cost? $3,500. So the fuel cost is more expensive for the SUV. And the reason is because you get fewer miles per gallon, which kind of makes sense. You all knew that. The less miles a gallon you get, the more you got to pay for gas to drive that car. Okay, so any questions on using that formula? All right, so that was part A. Now let's look at part B. Okay, now listen carefully. There's a form I'm going to have to tell you about for part B. So here's what part B says. So this is kind of new. It says if you deposit your money, the money you saved. Oh, we didn't finish answering the question, did we? How much money was saved by driving a hybrid rather than a SUV? So how much did you save? How do you find out what the savings is? You subtract. So 3,500 minus 875, what does that equal? Say it again?
2,625.
Okay, is that what y'all got? Okay, so $2,625. So by buying the hybrid, remember there could be other things. The hybrid could be a lot more than the SUV. Who knows? So in the long run, it may not even be any better. But we are just talking about fuel costs in a 1 year time, though. So you save $2,025. So in your mind, you know, okay, I saved that much. And that if I bought the SUV, that would be something I would have spent, right? Y'all agree? If I bought that SUV, I would have spent that $2,625 in gas. Y'all agree? Okay. What they're saying in part B is this: rather than just spending on something else, the money you save, or not even thinking about what to do with it, what if you did this? What if you put this thing in an annuity?
You get it 3,500?
Huh?
3,500?
2,625.
Okay.
What if you put the amount you saved in an annuity? So if you think about it, you know your goal at some point is to save as much money as you can because emergencies happen. So you may need that money at some point. So whatever you can, you save. And if you can save it in an annuity, because savings accounts don't pay much, So, but if you can save it in annuity, you can earn a little bit more interest. So they're saying, all right, I saved this amount, $2,625. Let me go ahead and put that in annuity so I can earn money on that. Well, here's the formula for an annuity. All right, so here's the formula. You don't have to memorize that. I will give it to you. All right. The A will equal, so the amount the future value, A, so this will be for annuity. The future value will be P times, in parentheses, 1 plus R over N. All that looks similar to what we've been doing. Raised to NT power minus 1, all divided by R divided by N. So we're going to use that formula. So A equals, so my numerator, so the letters are the same as the previous one. It just depends on how it's written, what we're looking for. So A equals P times 1 plus R divided by N raised to the NT minus 1 divided by R divided by N. Okay? All right, now listen. Part B. If you deposit your savings, how much did I save in Part A? By doing the hybrid instead of the SUV, how much did I save? How much did I save? $2,625. And they're saying if you deposit this amount at the end of each month, oops, I got to rephrase that. That $2,625 is a savings for 1 year, right? Okay? But at the end of each month, you're depositing part of this. So how much did you save per month? So this is your annual savings. So that's your annual savings. What's the monthly savings? Divide by 12. What'd you get? So $2,625 divided by 12. Okay, 218.75. Let's just say 219. Let's just use the whole number. So 219. So that's about how much I'm saving, right? Okay, so they're saying, now deposit your monthly fuel savings at the end of each month into an annuity that pays 5.7% compounded monthly. How much will you have saved at the end of 6 years? Okay? All right, listen carefully. Time is 6, right? What's the interest rate? What's R in this case? 5.7%. What's that as a decimal? 0.057. What's in? 12. And in how many years? Oh, we already said that. That's 6. Okay, so I think we're good with that. All right, so let's find out what my future value is. So A equals P. What is P in this case? Now be careful. Is it 2,625 or is it 219? 219. That's what I'm depositing each month. Times 1, in parentheses, parentheses 1 plus R. R, what's R? 0.057 divided by N. N is 12. Close the parentheses. What's the exponent? And put that in parentheses. So it'll be N, which is 12, times T, which is 6, and then minus 1. So that's all of your numerator. That's your numerator. My denominator says, in parentheses, I'm going to take R, which is 0.057, and divide by N, which is 12. All right, so that's what you would write down. Now use your calculator. Punch that into your calculator and see what you get. See how much money you will have saved. Okay, so what what you get, and it looked like most of you were able to get this. This is what I got. So, what does that amount represent? That $18,747.36. What does that represent?
The amount you make if you were to invest what you save.
Okay, so if I took the amount that I would have saved by going with the hybrid, that amount, put in an annuity that pays 5.7% for 6 years, compounded monthly, then this is what I would end up with at the end of that 6-year period. Now remember though, is that all interest? Is this all interest right here? Yes or no? Guys, question, is this all interest? No, because some of that is money you put in, right? So let me ask you this. So again, that's the amount you save, so that will be the answer for part B. But what would be the interest though? Interest earned. How would you figure that out? How would you figure out how much interest you earned if you put this in an annuity? What would y'all do?
Subtract the amount invested.
Okay. So what's the amount that you invest? How would you figure that out?
219 multiplied by however many months.
Okay, 219 times however many months. All right, let's go with that. So the interest earned would be the future value, which is this, minus P, the amount that you invested. And so I know A is this, and now you get to find P. So P would be 219 times how many months in a year? 12. And how many years? 6. So how much did you invest? What's P? So $15,768? So how much interest, if I want to find out how much interest this annuity is going to give me in that 6-year period, what would I then do? Subtract. What's your question?
I was gonna say subtract.
Okay. Yeah, so $15,768. And what is that? So it's like $2,979.36. That's the interest you earn, which is a good amount. It's about $500 a year in interest you got, more than what you would have gotten without investing it. But the thing is, you save that amount. How many people actually do this though? I don't. But you think about it. If you're able to, I just saved that much money without spending it. Let me take what I would have spent, put in an annuity. You can earn some interest. We just don't think like that. And in my case, because the money I saved, I really don't have.
Most money now.
The money I saved, I really don't have right away to do that.